place, and then they're able to squeeze tighter. They have at least 200 pounds of pressure in their feet, red-tailed. A human has around 20. Owls range from 400 up to, I've seen some places where they say 2,000 pounds. They can actually sink their talons into a human skull if they wanted to. They would never do that, but they're strong enough to sink it through bone. So.
Would it be legal to have a pair for mating purposes?
Yes, you have to have a propagation permit, but you can get a propagation permit, and there are people in the state of Georgia that that raise Harris hawks. There's no one that raises red tails. Red tails are there's enough of those still in the wild that we're able to just trap wild animals, but there are people that cross gyr falcons and sacred falcons, which are found more along Canada, and Harris hawks and other birds for sale. If you buy a bird versus a trap bird, you can never let it go. It's yours for life. So that's a huge commitment. If something medically happened to me and I was no longer able to take care of her, I could take her out right now and let her go. But if I had purchased a bird, I would have to find someone to take the bird until its death. So.
How would you trap? How did you trap her?
She was on a light pole in Warner Robins, and I had a trap that we put out on the side of the road, and it had a little mouse in it, and she flew down to it, and her feet got tangled. It doesn't hurt their feet. There's these little nooses, and it just kind of grabs their feet, and you go over and you cover up their eyes, and they'll calm down, and you're able to take them off the trap. And we put these leather anklets on, and then the straps on her feet. And at that time, I did have a hood on her. It was too big, but I had a hood on her to keep her calm until I got her home. So.
Are ospreys and eagles falcons?
No, ma'am. They're a different group. There's most of the hawks are in a group. Most of the falcons are together. Eagles are their own group. Ospreys are kind of in between. Then you have your kites and your other water birds. So.
How thick does that glove have to be?
It's 2 layers of leather for her. The eagle glove has 3 or 4 layers of leather.
Right, for that much, 200 pounds, or are their gloves rated like 500 pounds?
Probably. Usually they don't. If I were to move my wrist too much, she'll squeeze just for balance. But she knows she can't eat me, so she doesn't try to sink her talons in. She has grabbed me before by accident. I have had food in my left hand and gotten it too close to her mouth, or too close to her for her to see, and she's reached out and grabbed my hand.
That hurts.
And she latched on pretty good. It took a minute or two before she let go. So. Yes, sir.
These raptors pretty much top of the food chain, or do they have
Owls are the only things really that will hunt them out of the air. On the ground, they're pretty defenseless. So when she catches something, she'll spread her wings out and mantle over the top of it to try to make herself look bigger, because coyotes, fox, and other things can come up and attack her when she's on the ground. But when she's in the air, she's pretty safe. So.
She looks pretty pissed right now.
She's just agitated. She can see a window and see outside. So. Yes.
In her school, the falcon is the mascot. I wondered if that was a good thing or a bad thing.
Sure. Good thing. Our college mascot just changed here. South Georgia State College is now the Hawks. So.
What's the purpose of the data?
Just so that I can find her in the woods. When she's up in the 100 feet up in a tree, you can see her pretty good in here, but this brown and tan modeling just disappears in the top of an oak tree. And when she catches something, she'll take it down to the ground, and because she is in danger of something attacking her on the ground, she has a tendency to want to hide it and herself. So she'll go up underneath the fallen tree or palmetto bush or something, and there have been times when you'd lose her for 10 minutes because she'll land on the ground and she'll get completely still. Well, she's trying to dispatch the squirrel or whatever she has in her talons, but she's also trying to make sure nothing else is around. So she'll just get very still and look around and make sure there's nothing close that could attack her. So the bells help me to find her.
After you caught her, you say, I think I heard you say that y'all went outside about 2 weeks after, so you kept her inside for those 2 weeks?
I had her inside the box 22 hours of the day, and then when I would get her out, I would hold her on the glove. I had a big shower curtain on the floor so she wouldn't make a mess on the floor. But the more I do this with her and the more I bring her to things like this where she's exposed to people, the calmer she gets. And she's tried to get off the glove a couple of times, but mainly because the windows are open. If the windows were closed, she'd be pretty calm in here. So, but when I first called her, it was every 10 minutes she would fly off, and she'd fly off enough she'd be hanging upside down with her wings out. I'd have to pick her back up and put her on the glove. So.
Awesome.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Pretty.
Don't move your head.
Don, you were right.
I want to come back. Okay. I want to thank Dr. Lindsay for that great presentation and that speech. Just want to let you know, as y'all know, he's a dentist, but his dad's a veterinarian. So if I circle back around, he got back into it anyway, right? All right. We'll have now some remarks by Mr. Jim Reams, also with the 63rd Preservation Group. Come on up, sir.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. It's been a great week, and it's always a sad time to come to this meeting because I know that it's over with, but I understand from John that you guys voted to return next year, so that pleases me to no end because I get another week off from Dawn to be with you guys. So I really look forward to that. Before I turn this over to John Herman, I come across somebody that told me something about him and Lou Berner, and I wanted to share it with you folks. It appears that back when they were in 44B, back when they were in the training at the cadet reunion, that they were sent out to measure the flagpole. So they went out and they looked at that thing way up there, Lady walked by, she was one of the riveters, had the wrenches in her coveralls. Asked him, said, what's the problem, guys? Said, well, we were told to measure the flagpole and we don't have a ladder that tall. She reaches in her coveralls, takes out a crescent wrench, loosens about 4 bolts, lays it on the ground, takes a tape measure, 21 feet 6 inches. She walks on off. John looked at Lou and he said, damn, ain't that just like a woman? We wanted the height, not the width. So anyway, I love you guys, and I'm glad you're coming back next year. And they've got a little questionnaire for you to fill out. Please fill it out because we want to make sure that you do the things that you want to do while you're here. So Mr. John Herman now wants to say a few words.
All right. Well, Jim doesn't know this, but I've been practicing climbing ladders for the last 2 months, painting a house. And Mayor Dennis, you said that maybe some of the families could bring more of their family. I only have 14 here this year, but I think I could scare up another 6 or 8. and for the record is we have one person here who had a reunion recently for 46 members, so we could fill this place and anything. But we have been planning for this for 51 weeks, and here it's the 52nd week, and we're about to leave for another 51 weeks. And it's hard to believe that time passes so fast when we're so darn old. And but we'll go home and we'll rest to the first of the year, and then I will start planning for next reunion, and all of our members here and all of you in Douglas here will be seeing us again, I hope. And we took the liberty of setting these dates, not knowing that we would even be able to come back here to you people in Douglas. And we certainly appreciate all of your help that you do here, and especially Dawn and Jim and Georgia and her assistants here, because it's a little bit difficult to manage a thing like this, a reunion from some distance, and we certainly do appreciate the help that you three have given us. And with this, I'll say we'll see you in 51 weeks. Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Herman. Just give a couple announcements here. We want to thank all these community partners. I'm just going to ramble through a couple of them. The 63rd Preservation Society, the Flight Training, WW2 Flight Training Museum, Hampton Inn, American Legion Post 515, Jasmine McDonald, Sounds Effect, Show Choir, the Fletcher Family, Harvey's Supermarket, Marguerite Williams Catering, Little Mike's Restaurant, Brit Steak and Seafood, Catfish House, WW Video Production was in the back, and Red Brick Farms, and Fred Hand, Little Oris Floors, Perpetual Praise and Worship Ministry, the Douglas Coffee Country Club, which we're at now, Premium Waters, Coffee County Historical Society, the Chamber of Commerce, County Commission, and the City of Douglas. And we want to thank everybody, especially these ladies that work with Georgia and Kimberly and Mrs. Patty, wherever she's at, and Mrs. Blondell. So, yeah, I didn't forget about Blondell. But we want to thank them for orchestrating all that. Please, 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 before you leave, fill out these forms so that they'll be aware of how you want to facilitate the next year's event so that they can plan appropriately. Thank y'all for coming, and we'll see you next year.
Let's take up a collection for John. He was trying to take a knife home with him.